A woman who contracted HIV from her husband after he was given contaminated blood products in the 1980s has been giving evidence at the inquiry into the infected blood scandal. Clair Walton's husband Brian suffered from severe haemophilia. She says doctors persuaded him to take the contaminated medicines. As a result, he contracted HIV and hepatitis. Our health correspondent Sophie Hutchinson reports.
This was Brian Walton. He had haemophilia. But in the early 1980s, 2 years after he married, he was diagnosed with HIV. He'd been treated with an infected blood product called Factor VIII. Today, more than 30 years on, his widow Claire told the public inquiry about the impossible position her sick husband was put in back then by medical staff.
He was told that there was a shortage of the Factor VIII at the old stock and that they were keeping the good stuff for the little boys. Brian accepted that. He accepted it, and I think that's a mark of the man he was. But he was put under that emotional blackmail.
It's estimated around 5,000 haemophiliacs and 30,000 other patients were infected with HIV and hepatitis in the 1970s and 80s after being treated with contaminated blood. Claire was also infected with HIV through her husband. Months before Brian died of AIDS, the couple reluctantly agreed for the McFarlane Trust, set up for victims, to take on their mortgage to free them from monthly payments in return for a stake in their house.
I didn't agree that they should be profiting from the charity set up to support haemophiliacs and their spouses should be profiting from people dying. It made no sense to me, and I didn't think that was legal. I don't know, but it certainly was immoral.
The McFarlane Trust is now closed, and there was applause at the inquiry today as it emerged Clair Walton's debt has been written off with immediate effect. A huge relief for her, but there are still many other families, victims of this scandal, who are desperate for financial support. Sophie Hutchinson, BBC News.